Hello, good morning. Welcome to Gaming Insight Daily for Monday, March 31st, 2025. I'm Steve Saylor. This is your daily show of gaming news, accessibility news, or updates about my life. I have mocha coffee in my Minions mug today. And some people actually asked if I wanted to give the history of sort of like when I got these mugs. This one, I think, is probably the oldest mug that I own. I can't remember the specific circumstance of how I got it, but I believe I got it when I first moved out on my own back in like 2008, I think what it was. So yeah, I've been on my own since 2008. So it's been yeah, I've kept this mug ever since. I don't even watch a lot of the Despicable Me movies. I just like the mug. It's cool. It's a cool mug. All right. I wanted to, I think I adjust my camera just a tiny bit there. There we go. A little bit of housekeeping. So I can confirm that I do have the review code of South of Midnight. I've been playing it all weekend, and I will have my review, my accessibility review for South of Midnight on this Thursday. had to count the days. On April 3rd, this Thursday, April 3rd, I will have my, wait, is it Thursday? Yes, it is a Thursday. I had to double check. April 3rd is when the review embargo is up, so I will have my review for that. So make sure to you have your notifications turned on, so you can be able to get that when that review goes live. Yeah, I'll give my thoughts on it then. Can't talk about it just yet, but if you do have any questions about the accessibility or what my thoughts are about the game, please leave a comment, and I will address those in the review. And then I think other housekeeping will be streaming all this week again. I think I'm going to be going back to the morning streams instead of the afternoon or evening streams. So we're going to try to go back to that again this week, but things may change based off of, because I've got a few meetings this week that may sort of change how what time I stream. So I have to double check on a few of those. All right, let us jump into the news. Not a huge amount of news, because this week it's Nintendo Switch 2 week. We have the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct on Wednesday. I actually thought it was going to be tomorrow because I thought today was going to be April 1st, but today is the 31st. So we're going to do it tomorrow on Wednesday. I think I am going to be streaming it live so I can be able to watch it, and I'll probably have like maybe some of my gaming podcast friends. We might sort of just chime in on Discord or something like that. But yeah, this week there's probably going to be a lot of like little mini rumors and hopefully not any leaks of a Nintendo Switch 2 prediction. I think I probably might do a predictions episode maybe tomorrow, or potentially even Wednesday if I can get this out beforehand. So maybe my final predictions of Nintendo Switch 2. Let me know if you have any predictions for it. Let me know in the comments below. But let's jump into the first bit of news, because we do have. I mentioned Nintendo Switch 2 because there was a rumor, or a lot of the kind of rumors about when pre-orders were going to go live. This article is coming from Cameron Koch, Koch. I apologize, Cameron. Off of GameSpot, new Nintendo Switch 2 report raises questions on when pre-orders will go live. A new report is raising more questions about when Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders will go live at major retailers, with two conflicting dates now circulating. The report comes from Insider Gaming, which states it has seen internal emails and documents from a large U.S. retailer confirming the Switch 2 will release in June, as has been previously rumored, heavily rumored, which was my prediction too. My prediction, I'll just say it now. I don't know. I don't care if they make the date. Awesome. If not, doesn't matter to me. I think June 19th sounds about right. I don't know why that June 19th sort of kind of stands out to me. In that, like, or at least that week is kind of what I'm thinking of. However, okay, going back to the article. However, the documents also state pre-orders for Switch 2 will go live on April 9th, a week after a Switch 2 focused Nintendo's Direct on April 2nd. They'll offer more details about the console and presumably its release date and launch games. According to the retailer documents, the Nintendo Direct will state pre-orders will be coming soon and reveal a countdown clock that will end on April 9th. This specific retailer, which Insider Gaming did not reveal, will also reportedly include an exclusive collectible coin for those who pre-order the console. The retailer anticipates to sell out of its Switch 2 allotment on its first day due to a limited unit allocation from Nintendo, according to Insider Gaming. The April 9th pre-order date goes against a leak earlier this week from Best Buy Canada, which in a blog post about the Switch 2 stated pre-orders for the new Nintendo console will begin on April 2nd, the same day as the Switch 2 Focus Nintendo Direct. Best Buy Canada has since removed the blog post. Whether pre-orders go live on April 2nd, April 9th, or on some date, your fans won't have to wait long for official information straight from the source. Once the Switch 2 Nintendo Direct airs on April 2nd at 6 a.m. PT, 9 a.m. Eastern. So, this is interesting. Whether or not these rumors are true, and I will say, as a kind of knowing a little bit of, or at least like some folks over at the kind of the retailer side, at least within Canada, I had a feeling that the April 2nd date was a bit off. It felt a bit off. It felt like it was too soon of a, hey, we're gonna announce details like now and say it's gonna be available April 2nd. Not to say that Nintendo couldn't have that, but I would have but there would have been a far more like announcements or leaks happening around like last week about this, and that get Best Buy kind of started. And the fact that they kind of took it down kind of says something that they probably got it wrong, and probably Nintendo's not very super happy with them. I would imagine at the moment, especially if that April 2nd is actually true. Whether or not it's the rumors are like the rumors are kind of weird, and we're all gonna like. Here's the thing: I'm reporting on these rumors in the sense of like just trying to be able to just let expectations kind of like go, like just let them go, let the expectations go. We all know that Nintendo's gonna have pre-orders at some point, whether it's this Wednesday or next week, or maybe even a month from now, we don't know. The thing is, we are going to have the opportunity to be able to pre-order it. And Nintendo will give us plenty of time to be able to basically get set up for these pre-orders to go live at all the different retailers as possible. I actually do believe that the reason why that we didn't hear about the Nintendo Switch 2 like last year, other than sort of like the confirmation that they were going to do a new console. They didn't say specifically Nintendo Switch 2. They didn't officially announce it until end of January this year. But I believe that probably the reason why that if it was going to be released or announced mid to late last year, my thinking was that because they wanted to delay it so they could make sure that they have as many units as possible to sell. They know that Nintendo knows that this is going to be a big seller, and they're going to want as many people to be able to buy one day one as much as possible. So my thinking is that by like talking about whether the pre-order is going to happen on the 2nd or 9th, Nintendo's going to give us plenty of time. It's not like they're going to shadow drop a pre-order date. That's why I didn't believe the April 2nd date, because the April 2nd date it's too much of a coordination of a lot of retailers and a lot of promotions from those retailers to go to basically to shadow drop a release date and a pre-order date of today. They're gonna do like in the Nintendo Switch Direct on Wednesday, and they're like, and you can pre-order now, and it's gonna cause chaos, and I don't think Nintendo wants that. They don't want like then because that is only just bad press for them, because websites suck a lot of times, especially when you get a lot of traffic to them. So guaranteed, Best Buy, Walmart, GameStop, even Nintendo's own website, and all the other retailers that essentially that like Nintendo store, like the Nintendo stores, like they would have people like it would be pandemonium, it would be chaos, and I don't think Nintendo wants that. They want to be able to make sure that everyone can be able to pre-order as much as possible. So that's my thinking is leaning towards maybe not necessarily April 2nd, but definitely not the same day as the Direct. That is just my own personal opinion. Whether or not that's true, I'm just going based off of the greater context of how retail sales works, how much the Nintendo doesn't want to be able to like cause chaos. They are not one to shadow drop a pre-order date on the same day. And that's, hey, you can pre-order now. That's not Nintendo style. They sometimes do surprise shadow drops for games and stuff, like they did last week with its specific direct, or with its kind of Switch 1 direct. There was a few that were released today, but there's a difference between shadow dropping games versus shadow dropping console like pre-order dates. This is a significant. There's a significant cost to it, and I believe that Nintendo would have shot themselves in the foot if they said, oh yeah, the pre-orders are the same day. So that's my guess. Again, what I said before. Try to be able to keep your expectations in check. There's going to be a lot of leaks and rumors this week, and so if you want to rely on me as sort of like the calm voice, the peaceful voice, being like, it's okay, you're going to get your Switch 2. Just I know anticipation's high. We all want it. I want it. I can't wait to be able to get my hands on it. I can't wait to even hear more about it on Wednesday. But keep the expectations in mind. Even though we're going to be excited about it, it's okay to be excited. We're going to be excited. I'm going to be excited all week. But as far as like what it's going to have, what it's not going to have, we can only speculate until we get the official confirmation of what it is on Wednesday. We can only speculate. I do have my predictions, or like what I would love to have on the Switch, and I've talked about it before. But as far as like now, with like what games are going to release for like in the first wave, we don't know. We really don't know. We honestly don't, other than Mario Kart. That's the only one that they've kind of shown, and even then, it's not even officially confirmed. So, all right, moving on to the next story. This is coming from Jordan Midler at VGC. Monster Hunter Wilds smashes past 10 million sold, sets new record for Capcom. It's now the 6th best-selling Capcom game ever. The game, which was released in February, already broke a Capcom record by flying past 8 million copies sold in its opening week, and is now closing in on half of Monster Hunter World's lifetime sales. Currently, Monster Hunter World is Capcom's best-selling game ever at around 22 million units. But Monster Hunter Wilds is well on its way to matching it. This announcement means that Monster Hunter Wilds is now the 6th best-selling Capcom game ever, sitting just behind Resident Evil Village. The Monday's announcement also reaffirmed that the game's second title update is scheduled for this summer, though no specific release date was given. The game's first free title update will be released later this week. The free update will be available on April 3rd and April 4th, and will add a new monster and new hunts, as well as a new Grand Hub area. The update would add Mitsune, a fan favorite monster. This Leviathan was first introduced in 3DS game Monster Hunter Generations, and returned in Monster Hunter Rise. The update will also add an event quest coming at a later date, in which players will, with a hunter rank of 50 or more, can take on an arch-tempered Raidao, hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, unlocking the player new equipment if they can defeat it. Monster Hunter Wilds was well received by players and critics at launch, earning scores of 90 on consoles and 88 on PC on review aggregate site Metacritic. VGC's 5-star Monster Hunter Wilds review called it a victory lap for Capcom's golden age. Congrats to Monster Hunter Wilds, the team at Capcom, for set like they. I know there's been a few videos I think I've seen of just kind of talking about sort of Capcom's like rise of late. Like they have been killing it on every front for the past couple years now, producing basically game of the year contenders every single year. And it looks like the Monster Hunter Wilds might be one of those game of the year contenders. I personally, not a fan. I think I've talked about a little bit of this before, but the accessibility in that game is really hard for me to be able to play. Other than the battles themselves, which I guess is kind of the point of the game itself, but everything else around it is just a cognitive and disability nightmare for me specifically. I'm not going to comment on anyone in particular. If there are some disabled folks who have been able to play this and enjoy this, like I am never one to yuck anyone's yum. If they love it, great. And if you love it and you think that you disagree with my thoughts on it, absolutely, you could have that opinion, and that's totally fine. I will agree to disagree, and that's not because of just like I'm thinking that I'm in the right and you're in the wrong. It's just we both have two different experiences with playing the game, and that's fine. But I will say probably what I would love is if Capcom could be able to, because they do have some accessibility. You could tell that they do care about some of the aspects of creating accessibility in games, because there is an accessibility menu. There's a few presets and stuff. So there is stuff to be applauding Capcom for doing. It's just, I think, from talking to other folks that essentially that have played Monster Hunter games before, because this is my first Monster Hunter games ever. And for talking with fans who have played it before, have played a bunch of Monster Hunter games before, most of the issues that I have is in regards to all the systems that they have within the game, and what they've said is that this is par for the course for Monster Hunter series. It's basically legacy systems that are essentially trying to be able to be moving forward into the later franchises or later entries into the franchise. So a lot of the game design decisions that were made to try to be able to keep the same experience as Monster Hunter's games in the past, I think is what's holding the developers back from producing any type of amazing accessibility that they could have done. So that is sort of my thinking. I still want to do a review at some point. I just haven't got a chance to be able to do that yet. All right. But congrats to Capcom. Selling 10 million units is very hard, especially in this this point of the industry right now. Congrats to them and the team. I hope that basically the team is treated extremely well and gets bonuses because of this, because this is just awesome. All right, and then last story. Take-Two CEO explains why GTA 6 still doesn't have a release date. This is by Andy Robinson, again, over at VGC. Speaking to Bloomberg in a newly published interview, Take-Two Interactive CEO Strauss Zelnick has been asked why Grand Theft Auto 6 still doesn't have a release date, despite the publisher recently insisting it's on track for release this fall. Speaking to Bloomberg in a newly published interview, Zelnick said that Rockstar Games parent wanted to maintain the anticipation for GTA 6, which he claimed was greater than for any release in history. The anticipation for that title may be the greatest anticipation I've ever seen for an entertainment property, and I've been around the block a few times, and I've been in every entertainment business there is, he said, and we want to maintain the anticipation and the excitement. We do have competitors who will describe their release schedule for years in advance, and we found that better thing to do is to provide marketing materials relatively close to the release window in order to create that excitement on the one hand, and balance the excitement with unmet anticipation. We don't always get it exactly right, but that's what we are trying to do. That's a very weird statement. Okay, let me read this again. We do have competitors who will describe their release schedule for years. In advance, and we found that the better thing to do is to provide marketing materials relatively close to the release window in order to create that excitement on the one hand and balance the excitement with unmet anticipation. We don't always get it exactly right, but that's what we're trying to do. It feels like they would say, but on the other hand, but they didn't complete that quote. Grand Theft Auto 6 is officially due to release this fall, and although it still does not have confirmed release date, parent company Take-Two's recently claimed GTA 6 release date is on track. Market analysts are expecting GTA 6 to be the biggest entertainment release of 2025. And according to a recent report from the game business, multiple major publishers are preparing to move their own releases in order to avoid it. Rockstar Games have always sucked around a lot of money and, more importantly, time out of the market, reportedly said the boss of one of the world's biggest game publishers. We don't want to be anywhere near that. We are working up multiple different plans for our titles. Another senior executive said to have added, even without GTA, it's immensely difficult to find free time for new games to shine. Time is the real scarcity for us, not money. It's tough out there. This is something that I'm like, I get the reason why Take-Two wants to be able to start marketing this more closer to release. I understand that. But when the speculation is so high, and because of the anticipation is so high, I feel in essence, this is not necessarily like a strategic decision to be able to like announce the release date when they're ready. I feel like that it's basically harming the industry by not announcing a release date. Because as the CEOs have said, even in this article, the fact that multiple publishers have to basically try to schedule around a GTA 6 release, and by Rockstar and Take-Two holding up those schedules is doing more harm for the industry than just keeping the release date close to the chest. Now, the thing is, Rockstar is famously private and secretive. They don't announce stuff until they have it, until it's absolutely ready. And even then, sometimes they have delays. Like, they're also known for delays. So I get that they're trying to be able to make sure that they don't delay their game. But the speculation currently right now is, when is it releasing? It's so far almost we're only about 2 months away from being halfway through the year, and yet there hasn't been announced a release date other than sometime this year. And supposedly fall of this year. But even then, they've also contradicted themselves, because they've said that also Borderlands 4 is releasing in September, and they said they want to basically make sure that the two aren't conflicting with each other. So if Borderlands 4 is being released in the fall, it's either this game comes out in the holidays, which will put it into the November-December territory, or it's going to be delayed until 2026. But I feel like, again, and I'm not sort of putting demand on Rockstar and Take-Two this is a bad decision for not really, but it is harming the industry, because there's a lot of developers and studios that have games they want to put out it's holding everyone else back, and they have a responsibility. They understand, it's not like they understand how big GTA 6 is going to be. If they don't, they know now. And I feel like again, I think it's just they're doing a disservice to just their peers, essentially, by not having a release date. And I get it. They want to make sure they don't have a delay. They want to make sure that they can be able to hit that release date, and that's fine. Like, hey, if there's technical reasons as to why they just haven't pulled the trigger on a release date, okay, fine, but tell us that. Don't just sort of say, we're still on track. If you're still on track, then if you're still confident, announce the date. And this is not even me just basically saying I need this to be released. I need to know. The anticipation for me is so high. I've never played a GTA game in my life. Yes, I'm one of the few people that has never played GTA 5. And I feel like that. Yes, the trailer was great, and it's saying in 2025 was like a year and a half out. Fine, that's awesome. But now we're in 2025. We're almost halfway through. We're just finishing up the first quarter of 2025. We want to talk about fiscal years, and right now we don't know. And I'm sure that I'm guaranteed there's probably Take-Two and Rockstar have received so many calls from CEOs of companies, just saying, "Hey, when are you going to release this?" Just so that they can be able to schedule around it. And I can guarantee that. I can guarantee that they've had many a phone call with a lot of developers and studios and publishers. So, I don't know. I think it's just this is one of those times where being secretive is harming their game and also the industry. We just need that date. We just need that, and if you're going to delay it. No sense of trying to be able to push for it hard for 2025, and then basically say we need more time, and push it to 2026. That's also doing harm to your developers, because supposedly they're on track to be able to release this year. Guarantee there's probably quite a bit of crunch going on right now, trying to be able to get the game gold, and by delaying that announcement, even internally, what does that do for the developers internally that are just trying to get it done, and they're like, this needs delayed, but If publicly they're saying nope, it's still on track for release of 2025, it's basically throwing like a lot of production schedules in turmoil right now, because they don't know, because developers don't know if they have 3 months, 6 months, 8 to 10 months, or a year from now. And that's a lot. That's a lot to be able to try to schedule around and just do as much as and basically they're just like, just do as much as you can. Anyway, this is sort of my own little rant about it. What do you think? Are you anticipating? Are you looking forward to GTA 6? Let me know in the comments below. All right, and that's going to be it for today's episode. Thank you so much for watching and or listening today. I really do appreciate it. Brand new week, brand new series of episodes. Once again, if you have any questions or comments about South of Midnight, if you want to be able to know the accessibility about that, please let me know and ask any questions and comments down below. Also, stay tuned, because it's going to be 9 a.m. Eastern is when we're going to be doing when the Nintendo Switch Direct, or Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, is happening. That will be that day's episodes. So it might be a little bit later, past 10 a.m. which I normally post these episodes. So now knowing that it's going to be on 9 a.m., I'll be doing a live reaction, but the episode will go up a little bit shortly after that. So, all right, take care. Have yourself a great day, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye bye. And that's not an April Fool's joke. I will see y'all tomorrow. Don't worry. Bye bye.